Many things in this world is very deceptive. You can easily be deceived in our day and age by many things that you see. Lots of things that you see are not really real, even as human beings. A person might be laughing with you, but inside him or her, he might be frowning. There are some things I call financial deceptions. As I have counseled a lot of people in my pastoral ministry, I found out that many people are deceived by these financial deceptions. Today I want to share with you some things that if you know that is a deception as far as your financial life as a Christian is concerned, you can easily have a good financial life. I would wish that you would subscribe, like this video, and share to someone who might need it. It will be a blessing to you. Stay tuned. The first deception I call the deception of hard work. In 1 Samuel chapter 2 verse 9, the Bible says, he will guard the feet of his faithful servant, but the wicked will be silenced in the place of darkness. It is not by strength that one prevails. A lot of people think that if you do hard work, you will actually succeed. I have lived in Africa and I know that a lot of poor people really work hard. If hard work is all it takes for people to prosper, I think Africans will really prosper. It's a deception to think that only hard work is all you need to have financial freedom. That is why in the book of Psalms, when you read chapter 33 verse 16, the Bible says, no king is saved by his vast army. He says, no warrior is delivered by his great strength. Really, it is not by might. The second deception about money is what I call the deception of human aid. Many people think that if I get help from this man, I get help from my work, I get help from the man of God or that sister or that brother, I'm going to be okay. We always look for help from people, thinking that that could be a way to which we can have financial freedom. It's a real deception. I have lived for quite some time in this world and I have come to realize that it is deceptive to think that someone could be your source for breakthrough. In as much as God will help you through men, men can also be a source of disappointment to your financial life. Learn this earlier. That is why David said something in the book of Psalms. When you read chapter 60 verse 11, he says, give us help from trouble. He said, for vain is the help of a man. In the book of Psalms, when you read chapter 146 verse 3, he says, put not your trust in princes and in mortal man, for they cannot save you. Your help is not going to come from any man, but from God. The third deception is what I call the deception of gambling. It is a very deceptive thing to think that by gambling, you can have your way out of financial freedom as a Christian. You must be joking if you think that gambling is a way out. In Proverbs chapter 13 verse 11, the Bible says, wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whosoever gathers little by little will increase it. A lot of Christians think that maybe one way out of helping yourself financially is through gambling. I have seen a lot of youth in our Christian race in so much of these gambling platforms. It's a deception. As a matter of fact, I have come to find out that a lot of them, they spend a lot of money gambling than the money that they get from it. The next deception is what I call the deception of debt and loans. Sometimes it is important for you to go for some loans. There are times where you know that you cannot do anything about it than to go for a loan. Wisely speaking, you know that it will help your business to enhance and you will definitely pay back. But I have come to see that loans and debt is actually a deceptive way of thinking that through that you can really be financially successful. The Bible doesn't encourage us to do it. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs chapter 13 verse 11, he says, wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. Inasmuch as you might think that loan would help you, you must know that God really doesn't like it. As much as possible, don't owe anyone. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs chapter 22 verse 7, he says, the rich ruleth over the poor. He said, the borrower is a servant to the lender. As long as you keep yourself borrowing, you are actually a servant. You cannot rule in your financial life as long as you owe people. The next deception is what I call the deception of getting and receiving. A lot of times we think that the more I have, the more I truly have. The Bible actually says the opposite. The one that gives is the one that has more. It's a principle that we use in our kingdom. In Luke chapter 12 verse 15, the Bible says, take heed and beware of covetousness. He says, for a man's life does not consist of the abundance of the things that he possesses. It's a deception to think that the more you have, the more you truly have. In Proverbs chapter 11, when you read the verse 24, the Bible says, there is he that scattereth, and yet he increaseth, and there is he that withholdeth more than is meet, but yet tendeth to poverty. Many times the reason why you are poor is because you do not know how to give. If you will learn how to be a giver, prosperity will be part and parcel of you. The sixth deception is the deception of bribing God with spirituality. A lot of times we think that the more I pray, the more I will prosper. The more I fast, the more I will prosper. Or the more I give offerings or tithings, the more I will prosper. None of these is truly true. I know a lot of people who are faithful tithers and yet they are very poor. In Mark, when you read chapter 12 verse 33, the Bible says, and to love him with all your heart and with all your understanding and with all your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself, which is more important than all burnt offerings and sacrifices. It is better to love God and to be genuine, trying to seek knowledge and providing services, than to think that you can bribe God through prayer to be prosperous. Those things are deceptive. The last deception is the deception that money is all that you need. Prosperity is not only because you have enough money. As a matter of fact, if all you have is money, you are poor. In Proverbs chapter 23 verse 5, the Bible says, for riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away like an eagle toward heaven. In Proverbs chapter 27, when you read verse 24, it says something interesting. He says, for riches are not forever, nor does a crown endure to every generation. The next time you are thinking about money, make sure you are not deceived by any of these 7 deceptions. Live your life worthy of the Lord, and I pray that God will prosper you.